And welcome here to Coxville High School for some more Scbl baseball action. Today we have a doubleheader. Again, we have the Lake Norman Copperheads playing the Carolina Vipers, and this is going to be a great day for baseball. We have a lot of fun stuff on this broadcast. We'll be interviewing the Scbl commissioner in the top of the second inning. That'd be Mr. Jamie Billings. And also we'll have an in-game interview with the Lake Norman Copperheads manager, Sean Stevens. So watch out for two of those great things and great additions to the broadcast. I'm Zane Metz. Alongside me is, David Katzenbauer will be joining me later in the call as we see the first pitch of the day is going for a strike. And thank you everybody for joining us and spending your Tuesday afternoon with us. As now we go back to the action. And on the mound tonight for the Lake Norman Copperheads is a new man that we've not seen before, is Jonathan Conway. Conway up in this game 0-2 already. Conway sporting number 19 for this ball club. I'm saying good on the camera. And that one skied foul. So the count will stay at 0-2. Up for the Vipers is Enrique Wood. Wood playing shortstop today for Carolina. The Vipers standing at 2-15, bottom of the SCBL standings. But as we said time and time again, that SCBL tournament, double elimination, so anything can happen. I see that one delivered by Conway, and that will slip through the hole, and Wood will get the night started very nicely for the Vipers, as that one just got out of the reach of the outstretched glove of Luke Wood and Ixarino. So Wood will be looming on first over there.
Batting for the Vipers, the left fielder, Breon Ishmael.
Batting for the Vipers, playing left field tonight for Carolina is Breon Ishmael. Ishmael sporting the number 32, and you can see he's a tall figure in that left-hander batter's box. Has a big arm in the outfield as well. Conway delivers that fastball a little bit outside. Catching him is another new man for this Lake Norman Copperheads baseball team. It's Banks Conley. Conley sporting 36. Let's go around the infield. We have Luke Wood at third base, Ixarino at short, Zach Will at second base, and Jackson Taylor sending over that first. We see him catching that pickoff mover there. Let's transition to the outfield. We have Robbie Brown in left, Kyrus Dawson in center, and Ivan Zambrano locking down right field tonight for the Copperheads.
Is it 0-1 or 0-2?
And that's in a swing and a miss from Ishmael. So he'll be down to the count 0-2 now.
It's 0-2, so it's...
So Conway getting the signs from Conley.
2 maybe?
0-2 pitch from Conway. Runner will be going. Wood taking off the second. Can Conley get him? He cannot, as the throw was just a little weak in there to Ixarino, one hopper to him, but could not get the speedy Wood in time. Talking about Banks Conley, he's a very interesting player. You don't hear this so often. He's a two-way player, but he pitches and he's a catcher. You don't see that very often. We saw him pitching last night against the Mooresville Spinners, the side armor. Came in and threw some good baseball, but unfortunately 11-0 loss for Lake Norman, as he spots up in this 2-1 count. Good curveball right there from Conway, but that one just misses.
3-1.
So the count is now 3-1.
3-1.
As we have 14 innings of baseball tonight, so a lot to watch here on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon, as that one hits the umpire in the face mask. Conley looking for it, can't find it. And the umpire taking minute of break, manager Sean Stevens checking on him. That's a nasty one right there, just hit him right in the face mask, and hopefully he's okay. Those are always dangerous when they get you. Maybe can get you under the face mask in the neck, and hopefully he can catch his breath and come out okay. As we see Thad Lewis coming out there, give him a drink of water. A very hot day here in Concord, North Carolina, as it's been really all season. And what can you expect with this Carolina weather? That's gonna come into play. So hopefully he is okay, and we can continue to baseball. As we see him get up and hopefully can shake that one off.
I can put up on that one.
He's catching his breath over there. We see some players of the Copperheads meeting, second base and shortstop. And then Conway and Wood meeting at the mound. See some calisthenics being done by Evan Zambrano over there in right field, just getting stretched out. Zambrano tonight batting deeper in the order than he's used to. He's batting 7th tonight for Lake Norman, normally up there towards the top, but mentor Sean Stevens with a sophisticated game plan. As the team looked very good hitting BP earlier today, as I was out there just catching some fly balls and having a good time before this game started. And I think the umpire will be able to continue, so that's a good sign. Talking it over with his field umpire. Still talking it over, hopefully that one will not affect him too much tonight. As we look at these SCBL standings, Carolina Vipers sitting 2-15, 11 games back of the Mooresville Spinners, sitting pretty in first. Concord Athletics at 10-13, only 6 games back. Lake Norman Copperheads 10-9, they are 4 games back. Then at the top of the standings, we have Kingsman Baseball at a 12-6 record, and the Mooresville Spinners at 14-5. Copperheads trailing 4 games behind the Spinners right now.
Now batting the first baseman, number 40,
Copperheads 4-6 in their last
Freeman.
10, and the Vipers 1-9 in their last 10. The only 2 wins for the Vipers this year have been against the Copperheads, so a very familiar foe for them. So runners at the corners early for Conway. We have Enrique Wood at third and Ishmael at first. That one misses outside for ball 1. Up now is the first baseman for Carolina, Caleb Freeman. Caleb sporting the number 40 this season for the Vipers. As he watches that strike go by, count even up at 1-1. As I said earlier, my partner in crime, David Katzenmeyer, will be joining me later in the broadcast as he had some other obligations today. That one low will get past Conley, looking for the baseball. Will find it, but not before Ishmael advances over there to second base. So Conway will take back the mound, down in the count, 2-0. Conway looks in, gets a sign from Conway.
It's not turned on right now.
That one just misses outside. As we heard some appeals from that Lake Norman Copperheads dugout looking for a strike.
We're already having audio issues. David just put it up, so he saw we're doing this happening, and then I'm going to fix it.
That one popped up over the protective netting and onto the batting cages as we see those dark clouds looming in right field. Hopefully that will be able to hold off tonight, as the last time these two teams were supposed to meet, we got rained out. A lot of makeups in the making for tonight's game. And that's why we have a doubleheader on a weekday night. Don't see those too often.
I'm just going to unplug the camera.
At the end of the inning.
Yeah, I'm just going to unplug it, and then I'm going to change the switch back to the...
And now Conway walks the third batter of the inning, so Caleb Freeman will take his free base, and Joe Haney steps in with the bases loaded in a big situation.
Now batting the third baseman, number 17, Joe Haney.
Conway on damage control right now, just can't let this first inning get out of hand. If he keeps it to 1 or 2 runs, it's still a very manageable ball game for Lake Norman. Oh, a pitch from Conway. That one goes for a strike, and he gets a much-needed strike to get up in this count early. So can David even hear? So can David even hear me at all?
They can hear you, but it's really
low. 0-1 pitch from Conway. Now a good breaking pitch right there, and back-to-back strikes lead him up in this count 0-2. on Joe Haney. Haney will have to take the bat on his shoulder on this pitch or in the coming pitches if he wants to drive in his teammates.
Yeah. With a different number, I think.
And that breaking pitch just misses low. That's a good pitch from Conway right there. As you're not looking for a strike right there, but you're seeing if he can reach out and try to fish at that one and get your first out of the inning. So the 1-2 pitch from Conway. That one swung on by Haney and fouled off near that Lake Norman Copperheads dugout. We don't have that live mic out there tonight, but we will be using that for other things in this broadcast tonight. As I mentioned earlier, we'll be interviewing manager Sean Stevens in the middle of this game, so we're excited for that and see his input in the live of an ongoing game. So the count will stay at 1-2 to Haney. That one just misses, so after 2 straight strikes, Conway is now even in the count 2-2. And must get it out here from Jonathan Conway. Let's see if he can get it. That one swung on by Haney, ripped down the right field line, and that one just a couple feet away from staying fair. As that worried Jackson Taylor over there at first base a little bit. Is it manageable?
It's manageable, but so you can hear conversations. I think.
So we'll try the 2-2 once again. And that is a good breaking pitch right there from Jonathan Conway. And he gets his first strikeout of his early SCBL season. Conway, a late addition to this Lake Norman Copperheads pitching rotation.
Now batting
Much
to the
needed
Vikings,
arms
the catcher,
after
number 24,
some
Jed
unfortunate
Driscoll.
events came to their pitching rotation. Some guys leaving just to go home for the summer and see their family and wanted to go back to college early. So Jonathan Conway is taking this opportunity. So far so good, but still a lot of guys on base and has a new man in the right-hander's batter's box. That's the Vipers catcher, Joe Despan. Excuse me, Joe Despard. Despard up in this count 0-1, and now he'll have a very favorable hitter's count at 2-0. Excuse me. It'll be interesting to see who manager Sean Stevens uses today, pitching-wise, as we saw them use 3 pitchers last night. That being Thad Lewis, Grayson Barger, and then Banks Conley, who's behind the plate tonight. So Conway gets a strike on the board now, down to the count 2-1, and that low breaking pitch will run the count to 3-1. Has to throw a strike right here. A walk would load the bases once again and allow Carolina's first run of the ball game. And that one just misses low.
That's unfortunate.
As Jonathan Conway just missed on that low fastball. That was mere inches away of getting strike 2. So he'll have to regroup after that one.
Now batting the DH, number 14,
now
Luke
batting
Harris.
The DH for Carolina, Luke Harris. The first pitch of the night, Harris sees it goes by for a strike. As we see Jackson Taylor over there creeping up at first base, almost playing on the edge of the grass, but we don't see Luke Wood over there at third in bunt coverage, so it's a very interesting sight to see the first baseman in and not the third baseman. That was a good breaking pitch from Jonathan Conway, but unable to get a strike, and great job by Luke Harris right there, not reaching. That was a very tempting curveball. That one goes low. Conway now down 2-1. As I was mentioning earlier, we'll have Commissioner Jamie Billings on the broadcast later tonight. So if you have any questions for the SCBL Commissioner, please drop them down below. I bet he will be happy to answer any questions that you have for him. As that one's fouled off, so the count will run even 2-2. We're excited to have him on the broadcast. Hear his thoughts about the current SCBL season and going into the Home Run Derby on Sunday night at Moore Park, and then going into that big SCBL tournament next week. Conway shakes off one, and the umpire will call time. As I was talking about last night, we had a new pitcher-catcher combo with Thad Lewis, and then we had Spearman behind the plate. And this is another one. We have Jonathan Conway and Banks Conley. And that is a swing and a miss right there, and that'll be the second out of the inning. So 2 outs from Conway, both coming from swinging strikeouts. And as I was mentioning, Jonathan Conway, Banks Conley, this new pitcher-catcher combination, that's a very underrated thing in baseball.
Now
As
batting,
a
the
pitcher,
center
you have to
fielder,
be
number
built comfortable
16,
as a
Jake
catcher that
Dunnigan.
he knows right to call the right pitches, but also as a catcher, you have to know my guy likes to throw this pitch in this count, or likes to locate my fastball in the top right portion of the plate, or something like that, and that'll be something that'll have to be ironed out throughout this game. And Conway off to a good start in this at-bat right here. But that one misses low, so it'll be run even at 1-1. Conway likes the second pitch he gets, but it misses low. Pretty secure right now from Banks Conley. As I mentioned earlier, he's a catcher/pitcher, so not a full-time pitcher, but has been blocking him up pretty good tonight. And that is a swing and a miss right there.
His shoulder is over the plate.
And the count runs even 2-2.
Seriously, if he got hit, it should be a strike.
As that Vipers batter is very close to the plate right there. Michael Conforto-esque, as we saw the Mets earlier this year walk it off on a hit by pitcher very close to the plate. As that was strike 3 right there. So Jonathan Conway gets out of a jam somehow, some way. So a great job from Jonathan Conway. 3 outs in this SCBL campaign, all coming through strikeouts. So stick with us for the bottom of the first inning for some more SCBL baseball. Hello. Hello, yep. And welcome back here to Cox Mill High School. For the bottom of the first inning, batting first tonight for Lake Norman is number 4, Sereno. As we were having some audio difficulties on the broadcast, but hopefully we got those ironed out. Hopefully it's sounding a lot crispier for the people watching at home right now.
I did it for the showcase. Next year, Reese, you're going to the showcase. You're going to do technical. Both of you are going. Okay. For the Scbl, by the way. I'm not going right now.
That one is a strike, so Sereno now in the count 2-1. Sereno so far in this SCBL year with a .303 average, 10 hits, 10 runs, 4 RBIs, 9 walks, and 5 stolen bases. So once he gets on base, he is a problem. That one skied into left field. That ball is high, but will not get out of the yard as our camera battery ran out. So we'll be giving it to you radio style for right now. So Sereno goes down as out 1. That one hit to Ishmael over there in left field. And now Wilson Loher, the DH, will be stepping into the box. So 1 out in the inning. Wilson sees that great slider right there, just swerve into the box. Wilson Loher from Southeastern Community College, going to a sophomore campaign, and he's been doing great so far this year for the Copperheads. A .316 average, 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 RBI, 3 walks, and 1 stolen base. And that average just really stands out to you and shows why he's batting second tonight for the Copperheads. And I was talking earlier to Wilson Loher, and he was mad that he wasn't one of the guys that was mic'd up last night against the Spinners, as he will take that breaking pitch right into the hamstring thigh area and jog over there to first base. And now Luke Wood will step into the box with 1 runner on. Luke Wood going to his senior season at College of Charleston. Luke Wood, number 24 this year for Lake Norman, with a .313 average. So this whole top half of this Lake Norman Copperheads lineup has great averages so far on this season. Luke Wood, a .313 average, only in 16 ABs, and that's why because he was a late addition to this Lake Norman ball club, as there is many guys that were late additions to this team. .313 average with 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 RBIs, and 1 stolen base. As Wilson Loher, as I mentioned over there at first base, Wilson Loher with 1 stolen base on the year, so not really known for his wheels, but definitely when he needs to, can steal a bag. Out and outside, good job blocking him over there by Jeb Desprard. So now Luke Wood in a very favorable hitter's count. Can't get much better than this. 3-0. And you have to imagine what the average he has so far this season. The green light is on. And he check swings right there, but he went around, so Luke Wood's still in a good count, 3-1. Looming on deck for Lake Norman is Andy Schultz, the EH. Lake Norman Copperheads electing to use the EH tonight. We haven't seen that very often so far this season, but instead of having 9 batters like a normal rotation, when you see the DH, you have the EH as well, just to get these guys more reps and get these guys more ABs in the summer. That's really what it's all about, as we do see the Vipers also using the EH tonight. So now, Luke Wood, for being up 3-0, will now be 3-2 count. Wilson Loher going, but it would be ball 4. So Wilson did all that running for nothing, as his buddy Luke Wood takes first base. And now Andy Schultz will have a big situation here, a great opportunity to get the first run of the ball game in.
Now batting for Lake Norman, the extra hitter, number 18, Andy Schultz.
And Andy Schultz having a great season. A .367 average, and he's great at drawing walks. 14 walks so far this season, as he just finds a way to get on base. He's just one of those players who just grits out every at-bat, fouls off balls, has great eye, and is able to take first base more often than not. Andy Schultz from Campbell. If you remember, Campbell made that run into in the regionals, and that Tennessee regional very hard. Almost knocked him off, but wasn't able to. And that is a swing and a miss from Schultz. Vipers winning 1-0 here. Bottom one. Runners on second and first. As we see the Vipers pitcher stepping off the mound. One pitch to Andy Schultz. That one outside. And a good job by Despard reaching for that baseball and limiting those runners to have to stay at their bags. As I was mentioning earlier, we have some new additions to the broadcast. And if there's anything that you would like to see on the broadcast, something that we can add and make the quality of the streams better, please drop them down below, as we are all ears here at Coxville High School. We love to hear what you guys feedback, and if you like the broadcast, what you think we could do better, and some great additions. Andy Schultz up in the count 3-1. Not a hitter you want to be behind against. Schultz fouls that one off, so for back-to-back counts, it will run full at 3-2. And the Copperheads doing great so far tonight, just battling off pitches and making the Vipers pitching rotation really work for every at-bat and running that pitch count up. So we'll try the full count pitch. Runners will be going. Andy Schultz fouls that one off. So both runners will have to return their bases. That one towards the warning track over there on the softball field. As when you're the Copperheads, you really want to wear down these pitchers because it's summer ball and pitchers come at a commodity, and not every team has a lot of pitchers. So when you can wear down a pitcher, make the other team use up their pitchers very early, especially in a doubleheader, that's going to benefit you later in the game and later in the second game as well. Try the 3-2 once again. Schultz lines that one into second base. Can they turn two? And yes, they can. The speedy Andy Schultz couldn't beat out that double play attempt from the Vipers. So both teams had great opportunities to get on the score sheet. Vipers only got one, and the Copperheads unable to get any. So they will still trail by one. We'll be back here for the top of the second inning when we have Mr. Jamie Billings on the broadcast. And welcome back here for the top of the second inning. As we see the late number Copperheads taking back onto the field. First pitch of the second inning will go by for a strike. Back out on the mound is Jonathan Conway. We have a special guest on the program, the SCBL commissioner, Mr. Billings. How are you doing tonight?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. And if you have any questions or comments for the SCBL commissioner, Jamie Billings, please drop them down below, as he'll be open to answer almost anything.
Almost anything.
Yeah, almost anything. You got to be careful what you say down there. We can't ban you from the broadcast, so you better be careful.
This is on the internet. It doesn't go away.
Yeah. And as we see Conway drop up in this count 0-2. So, Mr. Billings, how have you thought about this SCBL season so far in general?
Well, I think it's been a strong summer for all of our teams. I think one of the things that stands out the most has been the number of quality arms that I've seen. So many of our guys are in the low to mid 90s, which I think is becoming more commonplace across baseball, but it's definitely been a larger number that I've seen than past years.
And talking about this, you obviously say that the arms have stood out to you, as we see that one sky high. Jackson Taylor going to that baseball. Will it stay fair? Yes, it will, and a good job from Jackson Taylor judging the fence over there and getting that first out of the inning. And as you were saying, the arms are much different than in years past. What else has stood out about you in this year than other years?
Well, I think this year, we had a team that dropped out late on us. That was kind of unexpected. So we're down to 5 teams, but I think it's been some of the strongest competition we've had with only having 5 teams and 5 quality teams. Right now, the Spinners have kind of taken the lead on everybody. They've got a very talented roster, but all of the teams are still within striking distance here in the last week, which makes things fun.
And that will be out number 2 in the inning. A good job over there by Wood, firing it over there to Jackson Taylor. And Conway starting off this inning very hot. So what are you building for in the future? If I'm a fan, say, hey, what am I going to expect from the SCBL in coming years?
Well, I think we're always looking to expand if things are in line with what our league is about. And one of the quality things about our league for young men is that our travel is very, very limited. So we have our 5 to 7 teams that we've had the past 3 years are all within a 20-mile radius of the Charlotte area, which makes travel so much easier for everyone. And that's kind of a highlight, because especially now with expensive diesel and buses, people aren't taking buses like they used to.
Yeah.
So with the travel being minimized, it makes it a lot easier on the players who play in the SCBL.
Mm-hmm. We did have one comment for you. What was your nickname when you were growing up? I feel like this was from somebody that knew you closely.
Your father must be listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. He knows it. We'll keep that. Like I said, some things aren't made for the air.
Yeah. And that's the end of the top of the second inning. I think Mr. Billings might come back and answer 1 or 2 more questions in the bottom of the second. So stick with us for some more SCBL baseball. And welcome back here for the bottom of the second inning. Up to bat For the Lake Norman Copperheads is the first baseman today, Jackson Taylor. Taylor on the season, a 4.05 average, and he had 3 hits and 3 RBIs against the Spinners last Friday night. So very hot as of late. And we have Mr. Billings back on the broadcast. So as I was mentioning earlier before, Jonathan Conway had that great pitching performance in the top of the second inning. What's your goal for the league as a whole, and just kind of explain to us?
Well, I think our league is much the same as many. We're here for development. We want our kids to get as many at-bats and innings as they can in preparation for hopefully either going back to their colleges or preparing for the Major League Baseball draft. I think that's the goal of every player, is to play professionally, and hopefully we can be a part of that preparation and the building those skills that they need to be a professional baseball player. We were lucky enough to have yesterday in the 5th round one of our alumnus,
Nolan
DeVos, yep, from Davidson, was drafted in the 5th round by the Astros, which is quite remarkable. That's great for that young man, that family, great family. I'm known the family for years, and we're really happy for the DeVos family.
Yeah, obviously Davis had that great season in the Atlantic 10, ruled the conference as a whole until that end-of-year tournament, and then lost to VCU, who went on to do pretty good in that regional they had with UNC. So, yeah, when you're looking at these guys, a lot of these guys are at JUCOs, looking to transfer to bigger schools, or at D2s. Right now in the portal, we have a lot of these guys who are transferring and committing during the summer. So is that the main goal for you, is these guys can find a better resting place after they finish their summer here?
Well, I think every player has a different situation and what they're trying to get out of the summer. But with the increase in the portal, I think it makes things interesting this summer. It's almost like we're trying to help them with the recruiting process, which has not been a part of summer baseball before. But now I think it's even more prevalent than it's ever been, for sure, and we'll help them as much as we can. That's another thing about being here in the Charlotte area, where you're center with a lot of Division I colleges, Division II colleges, so it does provide an opportunity for those players to not only be seen by colleges here in our league, but also to have the opportunity to travel to see different colleges while they're here in the summer.
Yeah, obviously so many great colleges around the Charlotte and kind of North and South Carolina region. We have Campbell, who went to the tournament, UNC, who hosted a regional. We have Queens, who just moved up to D1, so that's very exciting. Last year, the Scbl Player of the Year, Alex Sexton, is a Queens player, and he'll be playing D1 baseball next year in the A-Suns. So that's very exciting. So a lot of D1 in the North Greenville, D2, won the national championship. Wingate, also very close to here. So a lot of great baseball schools around here. And as we're winding down to the end of the season, we have the Home Run Derby on Sunday night, which is always a great spectacle at Moore Park. And then we have the end-of-year tournament. What are you expecting out of that, and what's kind of your tournament favorite?
Well, I think I'd be, you'd have to say right now that the Spinners have the edge for sure, not having to play on Monday, having that extra day off. But I think the Kingsmen and the Copperheads, I think we're at a situation where I think all 5 teams have a chance to win the tournament. I don't think anybody is at the point where they'd have no shot. So, and that's what you want. You want out of your league. You want all the teams involved in your league to actually have a shot. And we did a double elimination tournament this year because of having an opportunity to have more games for our guys in a shorter period of time. So we didn't want them to, to be, and luckily with as talented as our league is this year and everyone's so close, we'd hate for someone to be bounced after one game. So it gives somebody a chance to fight back through the loser's bracket.
Yeah, I mean, we had double elimination last year, and it worked out perfectly. The Mooresville Spinners, at 3 seed, battled back in that double elimination tournament, and they just got hot at the right time. That's really all you got to do in these short seasons, just get hot at the right moment, and you can win the championship. As all 5 of these teams, obviously Spinners in first place, great pitching depth, great hitting overall. Kingsmen, they had their mission trip earlier, now coming back to the States and playing great baseball. Copperheads started out really hot, then cooled down as of late, but who knows what can happen with their pitching rotation. If you just get hot at the right time, you're good. Concord Ace have been kind of a sneaky team because they've been standing in that 4th position really all year, haven't been able to break through to that top 3, but they're still only 1 or 2 games behind the Copperheads. And the Vipers, obviously not a disappointing season for them, much worse than what they did last year with that double elimination tournament. Who knows what's going to happen? Well,
yeah, no, I think the Vipers aren't happy with their season, but I think that they've done some great things with their development of their players, and that's what the most important thing is. The record is great, and we all come out and want to win, but I think they've done a great job, and they have continuously done a great job in our league, and they've always been one of the top 2 teams. So it is rare to see them in the 5 spot for sure, but I have no fear that they'll bounce back for next summer, and they're a good enough team that they can win the whole thing.
Yeah,
no doubt.
They obviously have some very good players on their roster. So building towards the future, I kind of already asked you this in some sense, but let's say 5 years from now, what do you want to look at the SCBL as a program as a whole?
Well, I think you have to be careful. You know, everyone talks about expansion, and we want to make sure that we're expanding and adding quality teams. But at the same time, we need to make sure that it's financially feasible for our teams. Obviously, summer baseball is not a huge moneymaker, but I think our teams do well as far as support from their communities. But we want to make sure that we're not making it so expensive for our teams by adding teams that are so far away that we can't afford to travel. We can't afford to do the right things by our players. So we're looking at expansion. We've been in talks with several teams throughout the Carolinas. You know, back when I coached in this league back in the beginning, in year 2 of the league, you know, we traveled to Athens, Georgia. We traveled to Johnson City, Tennessee. So we were everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, it was 3-hour bus rides. It was like playing in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
And you know that some people really like that, and they like that preparation for minor league ball and prepare them to be a pro player. But you know, we went with a little bit of a different approach, but I've been lucky enough. There's so much good baseball, and there's so many good college players that are coming back home in the summer here in Charlotte that we've been very successful basing our league in the greater Charlotte area. And we'd probably like to continue with that and not go too far to where we price ourselves out.
Yeah, I mean, we see leagues like the Coastal Plain League. You could be playing in Macon, Georgia, or Savannah, Georgia, then have to go up to the Norfolk area, you know, in 1 or 2 nights. Obviously, they play longer series there, but that's one thing great about the SCBL. It's very cost-effective, and all the teams in a close proximity, so these big teams have to take buses to each game. We do see the Kingsmen. It's obviously a kind of a far drive from here to York, South Carolina, about an hour 15.
Yeah, York is our farthest. I mean, north is Mooresville and south is York, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And we would like to eventually have teams in the Gaston area and, you know, that end in Rowan County, and make sure that we're, you know, that way we can encompass the entire Charlotte area. And there's a lot of good baseball out through there, so a lot of communities that I think would support teams in our league, and you know, we're looking to do that. But again, it's, you know, you have to have people that love baseball, that want to get fully involved, because it is a full-time job in the summer. You know, it's not easy, so it really takes a group of people that really want to do something special and provide an opportunity for these young men to better their skills and hopefully play professional baseball one day.
Yeah, and you were talking about fan involvement earlier. What do you want to do with that, getting the fans more involved and being able to be, you know, very close to their teams and being diehard fans? I mean, I saw a guy doing yard work today, just going down the road in a Mooresville Spinner shirt. I thought that was a cool touch.
Yeah, that is. You know, they're very fortunate to have Moore Park, which makes things a lot easier for them to involve fans. And they do some things that most of our teams are not. Most of our teams play at high school fields, which means they're kind of limited with what they can do. For fan involvement, and especially, you know, they can't serve alcohol, which is a huge thing at, you know, Moore Park. They have a lot of fun things with different breweries and having beer nights and those kinds of things, which is a lot like minor league baseball, but most of our teams don't have that atmosphere. And unfortunately, one of the downfalls of being in the Charlotte area is that we don't have the old ballparks like that anymore. You know, the real estate is at such a high commodity that most of your old ballparks have been torn down for business parks and condominium complexes and those types of things. So it does make one of our biggest league disadvantages is not having those kind of ballparks. I mean, we've tried to we've tried to buy you know, the old Intimidator Stadium to run several of our teams out of there, but it's going to be plowed over for business parks. I mean, you know, there's just things we can't do that we wish we could, but, you know, we're still working on some of those and trying to find some people that have the means to help the league, and hopefully down the road, you know, you talk about 5-10 years, so we're continuing to work in that direction.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the call tonight. A little update, we have a runner on first and second. Just can't thank you enough and giving your insight as a man who leads the league day in and day out and does a lot of hard work here at the Copperheads as well.
Well, I tell you, I'm just one of many, and a lot of the guys are behind the scenes that, you know, a lot of the men that own and the general managers that operate our teams and the coaches that come out every day, they do all the work. I'm really just here to try to guide and provide some direction from time to time. They do all the hard work.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck on the rest of the season.
You're welcome, and thank you guys for being part of the SCBL and doing a wonderful job with our broadcasting program.
Yeah, we're, you know, excited to be here, and hopefully we can level up the content here in years to come, and hopefully all 5 or 6 teams or how many teams there are at that point have live streaming games, because that's such an advantage for players to be able to look back at their game, say, hey, you know, and send it to scouts or schools, say, you can actually watch my game instead of just having to see the stats on Point Street.
Absolutely. I agree totally. Well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Little update on this game. It's a 1-2 count, 2 outs in the inning. Or excuse me, a 1-0 count. I misread the scoreboard there. That is a chopper to the catcher, and he will fire that over to first. So the Copperheads unable to get any runs in the inning, still stuck with a goose egg on the scoreboard. But only the Vipers are only up by 1, so we'll be back here for the top of the 3rd inning. Check 1, 2, check. And welcome back here for the top of the 3rd inning. The Carolina Vipers back to the top of the order. Enrique Woods, the shortstop, steps in to lead off this inning. Vipers do up 1, 2, 3. Woods, Ishmael, and Freeman. As that one's lined into left field, that ball is deep. Will I get out? No, it will bounce off the wall. And Enrique Woods will have a stand-up double to lead off the top of the 3rd inning. As that one was drived out there to Robbie Brown in left field, have to corral that off the wall. And Jonathan Conway will have to deal with a runner in scoring position very early in this inning.
Now batting the left fielder, number 32, Breon Ishmael.
And if you are in the Concord, North Carolina region or in the 704 region, close, make sure to stop by for tonight's game. We still have a lot of time for that second game of the doubleheader starting at 7 o'clock. So if you want to stop by and see some great baseball here in the Lake Norman area, make sure to come by. As this little smaller crowd than usual here at Coxsville High School, but that's due to be expected with the major heat we have right now. Carolina Vipers obviously a very far drive, 45, 50 minutes from here, so not as many fans on the waste side than there is usually. And then an early start, so people still getting off work and getting home and all that good stuff. And 1-1 from Conway. And that is a fastball on the outside part of the plate. A great frame job from Banks Connolly. And with these 7-inning games, obviously, we have Jonathan Conway, who's not up to midseason form as a lot of these guys are, just running the Copperhead. So maybe not the arm capacity that he usually has, being able to go deeper into the games. So see that one, sky that fastball. So not be able to go deeper in the games maybe because maybe not throwing many bullpens as he would if he was playing an active member earlier in the season. So we'll see how far he can go, maybe 4, 5, 6 innings. And if you guys remember, it's just 7-inning games here in these doubleheaders. 2-2 from Conway. That one fouled off by Ishmael, and the count will stay at even. It is 86 degrees right now in Concord, North Carolina. So it's still hot. It feels like 105 probably. As we do see some rain rolling into the air. We had some dark clouds over there in right field, but a little bit of a system rolling in. Hopefully it can keep off and we can keep playing some baseball. 2-2 once again. That one lined right back up to Conway. He can't corral it. But what a play from LKN second baseman Zach Will. And took a little deflection off of Conway's glove. Had to read that one right off of it for the second out of the inning. So Jonathan Conway had to deal with a runner in scoring position with no outs in the inning. Now he's only 1 out away from getting out of the jam. Caleb Freeman will have to try to stop that, though. And that one fouled off into the screen, so Freeman falls behind 0-1. As we see David Katzenmeyer walking to the press box. A little late today, but happy to have him.
Oh, great to be here.
Yeah? So just to update you and everybody else that's watching, maybe tuning in a little bit late, the Vipers took a 1-0 lead early in the first inning, but great job by Conway. Had bases loaded, no outs in the inning, limited the damage. And then the Copperheads had a couple opportunities to get on the scoreboard, just haven't been able to. Left runners in scoring position. And in that second inning, we had the SCBL commissioner, Mr. Jamie Billings, come on the broadcast and a little interview with him and see what his plans are for the future in the SCBL and what he's thought about this season and this season versus past seasons.
Well, sounds like y'all are keeping it locked down without me here.
Yeah.
Doing a good job.
You can leave if you want to, I mean. That one from Conway just misses high. And as I was mentioning earlier, we will have manager Sean Stevens on the broadcast with an in-game interview. So that'll be exciting, using that great wireless mic we have. That one lined up the middle, and the Carolina Vipers will get their second run of the ball game. As Ezekiel Wood strolls into home for the second time tonight. He's been both runs tonight for Carolina. And a good ribby right there from Caleb Freeman. And Joe Haney will try to keep the 2-out rally alive.
Yeah, batting the third baseman, number 17, Joe Haney.
So Jonathan Conway looks into the sign from Banks Conley. Freeman looming over there at first. That one lined down the right field line. That was a bullet, but way too early on it. And into that protective netting. Netting goes down pretty far here at Coxsville High School on that right side, pretty much halfway to the wall, and then when you're looking on the left side, it kind of stops after the dugout. Oh, 0-1 pitch from Conway. Ooh, and that breaking pitch just misses. It looked really good. Well, the umpire didn't like it. So Conway will have to shake that one off. A 1-1 from Conway. Freeman taking a healthy lead, and he will go. As that one popped up over the screen, and I could see him creeping over there at first base, just taking little itsy-bitsy steps over there and waiting for Conway to fire home. We have seen the Vipers test the arm of Banks Conley one time. It was an accurate throw, but just didn't have the velocity that he needed. One hopped it in there, Dick Sereno, and couldn't get the runner in time. So we'll try the 1-2 once again. And that one fouled up and high onto that grassy berm we have to the left of us. And we have a man sporting a vintage Troy Polamalu jersey getting that one over there. Clipboard in hand, so he means business here today. Nobody taking radar tonight for Jonathan Conway. We've seen that many times this year, but not for Conway. Freeman will be going. That one goes foul. A great at bat right now from Joe Haney. Just keeps fighting off pitches, and the count stays at 1-2 for it feels like forever right now. As we see, Conway just keeps pounding in these breaking pitches. So we see Freeman over there just trying to not be doubled up. Maybe if he steals, we'll be able to avoid that. 1-2 once again from Conway. That one was a good block behind the plate by Conley. So 2-2 count, 1 out of the inning. Vipers lead in this ball game 2-0. And that one fouled off into the screen. And that one slips through the netting right there. And as Joe Haney's really making Jonathan Conway work in this at bat right here. It'll be interesting to see who Sean Stevens uses after Conway. No, nothing brewing in any bullpens on each side, but not expecting something this early, especially how well both pitchers are doing. 2-2 once more. That one lined up the middle. Can the Copperheads turn 2? They get one. Ixarino throw it over to Jackson Taylor. And he cannot get him out as Ixarino kind of double clutched that baseball before he threw it over there to Jackson Taylor. So that will be marked as a fielder's choice right there.
Now batting the catcher, number 24, Jed Despard.
So Joe Despo steps in with 2 outs in the inning. Excuse me, Despart. Despart lines that one up the middle. Gets past Conway. Oh, and that will be an error by Zach Will right there. That one was hard. Just skipped over the outstretched glove of Conway on the mound and then hopped right to him and just couldn't handle it correctly. And that was a big focus for Master Sean Stevens early, is just hitting these guys ground balls, especially even during BP. And he was really stressing that. So an error right there from Zach Will. We'll have runners on first and second for Luke Harris. Harris in that DH spot for the Vipers. So when you're put in that DH spot, you're expected to produce at the plate. That one low. Last time these two teams met at Coxville High School, got rained out in the 4th inning. Had some thunder in the area and then had to shut it down for good reasons, obviously. But unfortunately, we couldn't end that game. So that's why we're playing a doubleheader here tonight, as these teams have been rained out pretty much countless times. That one lined down to third base. Foul. As if that one sneaked fair, that would have been big trouble for Conway. One, two from Conway. That one poked down the right field line, foul. So the Vipers really making Jonathan Conway work for every pitch this inning. Already got one past home plate so far and looking to add that advantage in this inning. That one outside for ball 2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning. 2s all around. 2 on as well, yes. That one fouled off, so the 2s will stay. So we'll try the all 2s once again. Oh, and that was a great slider, just trying to sneak into the strike zone. Started at the batter's shoulder right there and almost swooped in, but the count will run it full. So big pitch right here. Both runners will be going. As the umpire calls time. Conway gets a sign from Conley. And will fire back to first home. And the first baseman wasn't covering. One runner will be rounding second. One will be rounding third. As the Vipers get their third run of the ball game right there. And the runner on first base will advance to third. So a throwing mistake right there from Jonathan Conway. Thought Jackson Taylor was covering the bag. Threw it over there. And he realized that he threw it over there with nobody on halfway through his throwing motion. And just released it out of his hand. As that would be a costly mistake right there. And we see manager Sean Stevens will go out to talk to Conway. And that was a good idea by Conway right there, because the runner was leading very far off the bag, because everybody in the building knew he was going to steal right there with a full count of 2 outs in the inning. And that'll be counted as an E1 right there. So a big mound meeting here. All the infielders, catcher, pitcher, manager, all stepping in to talk. And if you're manager Sean Stevens right here, you have to imagine you're just telling your pitcher, calm down, get out of this inning, and get out of this big jam. So the count will stay at full. Full count pitch from Conway. Swing and a miss, and he gets out of this jam, but not before allowing 2 runs, one on a single and one on an error. So the Vipers take a 3-0 advantage in the third inning. Stick with us for the bottom of the third, where the Copperheads try to get on the board. And welcome back here for the bottom of the third inning. The speedy Kyrus Dawson starts off the third. He's been kind of used of a second leadoff tonight, batting 10th. Normally bats in the 1 hole because of his blazing speed. As we see him lay down a bunt right there. Can he beat it out? And he got there. He's turning 2. And Kairos Dawson gets a 2-bagger off an E1 right there. And I was talking to Dawson earlier. I was saying, how many bags are you stealing today? He said, first I have to get on base. And he accomplished it right there. As one of his teammates said to me, that once he gets on base, it's pretty much he's getting a triple because he's going to steal second and he's going to steal third. So now back up to this top of the LKN lineup. Ix Sereno, the shortstop, batting first.
Number 4, Ix Sereno.
Oh, and that one had a good pop of the bat, but that one is sky high, not going anywhere, into foul ground. And he got it. So Ix Sereno goes down on the first pitch he sees in his second at bat. It'll be all up to the DH, Wilson Loher, to drive Dawson in 1 out in the inning. So still some time to play with. Short. It's a good play over there by the Vipers. Shortstop Enrique Wood. No ones are always hard to judge. Now into third, he will be going. And a great job by Kairos Dawson right there, reading the play and taking a bag. As he got a bunt single and turned it into a triple in no time, pretty much. So now Wilson Loher just has to put it decently deep into this outfield. And you have to imagine Kairos Dawson will be tagging up. We've seen the Copperheads been unsuccessful in a lot of hit and run attempts this year. We saw a couple the other night. Peyton Schubert taking off. And then Kairos Dawson taking off a couple of times. But they would just pop up. And sometimes they'd be doubled up. As the Copperheads had 3 double plays last night. That one outside. So Wilson Loher in a very favorable count, 2-0. Third base is in. First base is in as well. So both corners watching the button. Wilson Loher will line it to the first baseman. That will just get right between his legs. An error by Caleb Freeman will allow Lake Norman's first run of the ball game. And I think he was getting ready to throw that baseball before he even had it in his glove. As he was trying to do 2 things at once. And in baseball, the worst thing you can do sometimes is overcomplicate things.
Was trying to do too many things at once. Was trying to think of Kairos coming home. Was thinking of Lower running over to the base. And it's like catching something in football. You're trying to run without the ball before you catch it to drop.
Now on a check swing will stay in play. And the Vipers only elect to get 1. So Wilson Loher will go over to second base. And Luke Wood will stroll back into the dugout. And now Andy Schultz, the EH, will be tasked to start a 2-out rally. As we do have that live mic now down there. You can hear the sounds of this game a lot better. You can hear Manager Stevens yelling out to his players right there to tell them to stay confident. Andy Schultz rips that one towards first strike. Enrique Wood fires it over. And he can get him. What a play from Enrique Wood. The backhand, the throw, everything was great. And he might have saved a run right there. So Wood closes out the inning for the Vipers, but not before the Copperheads get 1. We're back here at Copperheads High School for some more SCBL baseball. Welcome back here to Concord, North Carolina. America's Home for Racing is hosting some baseball here tonight.
Now batting the center fielder, number 16, Jake Dunnigan.
And now Jake Dunningham, the center fielder tonight for the Vipers, steps in to lead off the top of the fourth. Copperheads kind of running out of time, but still 9 outs to work with. There's only 7 inning games with these double headers. As that one goes for a ball. So a 1-0 count to Dunningham. That one lined into right field. Will that ball drop? Yes, it will, right in front of the feet of Ivan Zambrano. And he was not sprinting to that one. He was just leisurely having a Sunday walk in the park to try to get that baseball. You can hear some yells from the dugout, just trying to make sure he's on his toes over there because anything can happen in right field.
Now batting the DH, number 3, Carter Starn.
So now the DH Carter Starn will step into the box with 1 runner on. That one goes for a ball. So I saw David putting on his headset. I thought he was have something to say, but he's just kind of chilling in silence.
We're hanging out right now.
Yeah? Kind of different mindset than calling baseball.
Working scoreboard, baby.
Yeah. You're doing a great job, David. That one's high. 2-0 count now. And it looks like Jordan Spearman is now behind the plate for Lake Norman, so maybe we're going to see Banks Conley come into pitch maybe later in this game or in the second game of the doubleheader.
You need to change something up. It felt like a very similar night to last night where the Vipers just kind of had the number of Conley, even if he was delivering some good pitches.
Yeah, I know. We do have a new pitcher in the game, Grayson Barger, and that change was made. We saw some activity in that bullpen earlier, and yeah, you definitely feel like that change is needed to make. As that one lined down the left field line, you heard a good crack of the bat right there from that live microphone. But yeah, I mean, you don't want to have like the Spinners last game last night because they weren't putting up a lot of runs in one inning, but it's just slowly 1 run, 2 runs, 1 run, 2 runs. And after time, I mean, that's going to mount up to what they finished with 11 and only 7 innings.
And it weighs on a pitcher's mind, too. It weighs on a pitcher's mind when you get out there and every single time you're giving up something, you don't have a clean inning. Even if you have no hits, maybe it's 2 walks and then an error in the field that scores a run. And it weighs over time. I mean, just like the score builds up, it builds the pressure on the pitcher's shoulders, and you end up out there top of the 4th in a 4-0 lead, and you haven't given up a hit.
And that'll be a swing and a miss. So Grayson Barger gets his first out of the ball game. Barger is 6th strikeout of his SCBL campaign. Barger now through 6 innings with a 7.94 ERA, 6 strikeouts and 5 walks. His fourth appearance, in all those 4 appearances in the relief. Barger, one of those late additions, earlier than most of the guys that have joined late, but still wasn't here on day 1, but some must-needed pitching help as the runner will be going. Spearman will fire down and not be able to get him as that one slips into center field. Kyrus Dawson will come up throwing, and he cannot get him as Kyrus Dawson was putting all of his might into that throw right there. Had a crow hop and everything, about fell down. But the throw just not in time over there to Luke Wood at third. So 1 guy on third base. Obviously a guy with speed, so a ball poked to the outfield far enough might just score him. Barger looks in, that arm hanging down, kind of Craig Kimbrell-esque. And did he go? Yes, he did. Count even up at 1-1. We're talking about those sack flies. Obviously, these short fences here at Coxwell, 315 to the corners, 355 to center field. A deep fly ball, this might be a 40, 50-foot difference to a deep fly ball in other parks. That one, good job corralling that behind the plate. As kind of a normal backstop here at Coxwell High School. Nothing too deep, but nothing too short. That padding behind the plate definitely does help because if you get a ball that hits really well off that padding, come right back to you and stop a guy advancing home. That one outside, so Barger now down 3-1.
Yeah, that small netting that also lines right behind home plate above the padding and the brick wall behind the dish is very tight as well. So balls kind of spring off that, unlike the other screens that are hanging up here that are a lot more loose.
And now we'll go for a strike. A good breaking pitch from Barger. He's right back into this count. Full count, only one out of the inning. So a strikeout here would free up a lot of different scenarios for him going forward. And that one misses low. So now runners at the corners. And in the 10 hole, Adam Featherstone, the right fielder. So he might be in the 10 hole, but a great opportunity to contribute to this ball club right here.
Now that is the right fielder, number 2, Adam Featherstone.
Featherstone looks like he's going to lay down a bunt, then brings it back, and that fastball just misses the outside part of the plate. That one right in there. As that fastball could really hear the pop of the glove. So now Barger evens up the count at 1-1. Runners at the corners. One runner will be going. Will he fire down? No, he will not. A smart play right there. As if you fire down to second base, who knows if that runner at third is going to be coming home. So the count goes to 2-1. As we do see a light rain right now. That one in the dirt, so Barger now down 3-1. As with it being rainy, we'll have to turn that live mic off and make sure we keep it safe. Now on property of Coxville Sports Network, they do a great job here at Coxville broadcasting all the football and soccer and baseball, basketball games. We'll see Featherstone taking a walk, and it will be bases loaded now, but as I was mentioning, Coxville does a great job here with their broadcast and doing baseball and softball and everything in between. And a lot of this great stuff that we're using right now with the cameras and the microphones coming from them. So we're very grateful that they're wanting to let us use it here on the broadcast. And a big reason why these broadcasts have been so much more high quality than last year. So now up is Enrique Wood. Both time Wood has been up to plate. He has got on base, so a good sign if you're a Vipers fan. But Wood swings through that one, so he'll be down 0-1. And that is a great slider right there, swooping into the strike zone, and Wood down 0-2. One strike away from getting the second out of the inning for Barger. That one popped up and over the protective screening, so the count will stay at 0-2. Barger looks in and gets the sign. Here comes the 0-2 pitch once more. Strike three looking. Ezekiel Wood goes down on a beautiful slider right there. Some extra emphasis right there for the home plate umpire, striking him out. So Barger only one out of the way from getting out of this jam unscathed. As Breon Ishmael steps in, the big lefty can do some damage if he gets some good contact to the baseball. And you can obviously see why the catcher and pitcher are meeting on the mound to make sure they're on the same page in this at-bat. So yeah, the rain very lightly coming down, nothing to affect play really. The ball might get a little slip if it gets in the dirt. So that one misses high and outside. You see a little bit of the dirt changing a little bit of color. Maybe not notice as much as on the broadcast, but definitely a slight color change. We'll see if that affects later in the game. Maybe the ball will kind of stop in the infield or not roll as far on the grass. As that one goes for a strike, the count evens up at 1-1. And that's such a big thing with the rain, is it not only affects the ball the ball might get wet for a pitch or something. But when you're a center fielder or a right fielder adjusting a baseball, it's gonna go a lot slower in that rain and that wet grass. So you have to adjust it completely differently, especially how hard the grass is out there at Cox Mill High School. As we were out there earlier, and anytime a line drive came in or a pop-up bounced up, it was going over your head almost. As that one fouled off from Ishmael. Counts up at 2-2. Wind blowing kind of right. So if that affects a big lefty like Ishmael pulling that baseball to the left field, that would really help him. 2-2. Oh, and that was nasty. That's probably the best slider we've seen all day right there, but just misses low. That's some wicked movement. Full count pitch. Swing and a miss. Drop third strike. And he will just touch on home plate. So Grayson Barger, great job getting out of that jam. Had bases loaded with only one out of the inning. But back-to-back case helped out his cause. And the game will stay at a 3-1 scoreline. Stick with us for the bottom of the fourth. As Jackson Taylor lines that one into right center field. But will not get down. Good job by Adam Featherstone over there tracking that baseball as the wind is picking up here. As we have a pinch hitter as Jordan Spearman behind the plate now and batting. That one low for a ball. David, where's the microphone? And that one was a ball, so the count would go to 2-0. 2-0. That one goes for a ball. So the count to Spearman now runs to 3-0. We'll see if he can do any damage here. And Spearman will take ball 4. So a runner on for Ivan Zambrano, the right fielder. All right.
Now batting for the Copperheads, the right fielder, number 26, Ivan Zambrano.
So now batting is number 26, Ivan Zambrano. Oh, to Zambrano. That one goes for a strike, so Zambrano down, 0-1. Spearman sitting on first. That one fired over there to first base. Count runs even at 1-1. That one goes for a strike. That was a nice little two-seam action on that fastball. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Zambrano. That one in low in the dirt. Now even at 2-2. So Spearman still sitting over there at first. You're in a full count. That one lined into left field, and Zambrano will get a hit on the board. That coming in the way of a single. And now Zach will really have something to play with here. 2 outs in the inning, but 2 runners on. So a great opportunity to chip back into this ballgame. Only down by 2, but outs are running out.
Now batting, number 29, Zach Will.
First pitch to Will be outside for a ball. And that will be outside once again, so Will in a favorable count 2-0. Spearman over there at first, and Ivan Zambrano at first, and Jordan Spearman at second, excuse me. We do have a weather cell moving into the area, so hopefully that will be able to hold off and we can keep playing. That one, will it draw for Zach Will? No, it will not. That'll be the second out of the inning. As we do see the rain picking up a little bit, and I'll be heading down to the field, passing off to David Katzenmeyer.
Thank you very much, Zane, as he will head down there to go ahead and get an in-game interview in between innings here with the Lake Norman Copperheads manager, Sean Stevens. Now batting, Robbie Brown. He digs in a big situation, 2 away with 2 men on. First pitch home to Brown is a breaking pitch that misses down low. So like Zane had mentioned, wind shifting directions here, normally blowing out of left field. Now kind of a crosswind heading over the field. That's a ball That misses just on the outside part of the plate, so the count now moves to 2-0. So we do hope that cell ends up missing us. The radar says it's kind of almost supposed to split in half and head around Cox Mill High School. So we do hope that this light mist is the bulk of what we get. 2-0 home misses outside once again. 3 straight pitches from Hondo that have missed on the outside part of the plate, now in danger of loading the count, or loading the bases, excuse me. So Brown stands ready in the box as he'll watch the 3-0 and a called strike on the outside edge. Finally able to find that location. It's Gnoel Hondo. As sneaking his first strike in there makes the count 3-1. Kyrus Dawson, the center fielder, stands on deck if needed. The 3-1 down in the dirt. So ball 4 loads the bases for the Copperheads. And they now have their biggest opportunity of the night with the 10-hole hitter Kyrus Dawson heading to the plate. So Dawson, one of those guys that we've seen in the leadoff spot for the Copperheads in multiple games, however, getting bumped to the 10-hole, almost being a second leadoff, kind of what Andy Schultz did last night against the Mooresville Spinners. So both those guys have been put in different situations for when they are needed for the Copperheads. As we will have a brief mound visit, as both sides want to make sure that everything is talked over, pitcher and catcher on the same page, as well as the managerial staff. So the Vipers trying to hold on to a 3-1 lead. Big swing of the bat from Kyrus Dawson could tie this thing up. As with them loaded, a hit out into right, something to the wall could score 2. So runners will head to their bases, infielders back in position. As all attention now home to our new batter, Kyrus Dawson. Jeb Despard lays down the signs. And the first pitch home is another one that misses down away in the dirt. It's been a spot in a situation that almost anything so far in this inning that's missed from the hands of Hondo has missed on the outside part of the plate with righties up. Working out of the stretch, trying to find a strike, and he and Despard cannot agree, so they'll reset. A quick step off the rubber, and now back at it. The 1-0 home is grounded over to the shortstop. They'll flip to second, and that will retire the side. Enrique Wood fields it cleanly, and the Copperheads put another 0 on the scoreboard. 3-1 is your score, as we will send it down shortly to Zane Metz, who will have an on-field interview with manager Sean Stevens.
You're very welcome.
This game so far. Got
Kind of what we're looking. See what Shaw can give us.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't pick it up. Welcome back here as we have a new pitcher in the game for the Copperheads, Jacob Shaw, on the mound. As we see the first pitch of his night will go for a ball. Shaw at Brighton in Stratton College went into his sophomore season. Shaw with a 6.42 ERA, 18 strikeouts, 22 walks, so kind of a walk problem so far, but averaging about 1 per inning. But if you can limit that down, you'll have a great outing tonight. 1 win on the season and 1 loss. This is his 9th appearance of the year, all 9 appearances in relief, so obviously a guy that manager Sean Stevens really trusts out of the bullpen. And that one misses high, so Shaw starts off his day with 2 straight balls. Excuse me, it's 3 straight balls. That one low. So now it would be a 4-pitch walk for Jacob Shaw as we have some confusion up here between the scoreboard on the broadcast and the scoreboard in real life. So Shaw will have to deal with a runner on, and now up for the Carolina Vipers
Now batting the third baseman,
is number 17, Joe Haney, the third baseman. Caleb Freeman over there at first. Freeman took off the last time. He was on base, but he had to go back to first base a couple times due to the runner swinging and fouling it off. That one just misses outside. That one goes for a strike, and Reese said we have some storms coming into the area. So with the storms in the area, we'll kind of have to play it by ear here tonight. That one in the dirt. But I say he went. So good for Shaw right there, having the runner stay at first base with his catcher blocking it up and the runner swinging. Kind of a 2-for-1 right there. Freeman at first, taking a healthy lead, and he will go. Spearman fires down, and can he get him? He got him! What a great throw from Jordan Spearman right there. And the man coming into the ballgame late. And the catcher's spot gets some action early on and fires that runner out as Caleb Freeman will have to stroll back into the dugout, thinking what could he have done better there. And it's nothing really. He took a great lead, great jump. Just the throw from Spearman was better. So the 2-2 count. Shaw on the mound. And that'll be much needed reassurance right there that you don't have to deal with a runner on. Yeah, that'll be ball 3. And Spearman, that kind of was an awkward catch right there. He was trying to catch it, like swipe at it, but it went out of his gloves. The count would run full. It would have been a strike anyway, even if he tried to frame it. Luckily, nobody on base, so that won't come to haunt him. That one down third base. Luke Wood will corral it. Throw it over there to first, and he will get the second out of the inning. So that Luke Wood to Jackson Taylor connection for the second or third time tonight gets an out. And now Jacob Shaw only 1 out away from getting out of his first inning of work without a run allowed.
Now batting the catcher, number 24, Jed Despard.
So now Jeb Despard steps in with 2 outs in the inning. And he went on that one. And we were going to give you that sideline interview with manager Sean Stevens. Unfortunately, the microphone was cutting kind of in and out. So maybe we'll try to do something in the second game. Maybe have him stand a little closer or come out closer to us. We'll try to figure that one out so we can bring that to the viewers. Shaw working very effectively right now. Only 1 strike away. Oh, 2 pitch. In the dirt for a ball. As the umpire calls time before Shaw can deliver. One-two pitch from Shaw. That one in the dirt. Great job blocking it up upon the plate by Spearman. And now 2-2 count with 2 outs in the inning. And that one lined out to left field. But Kyrus Dawson will call him off for out 3 in the inning. So the Copperheads put a 0 spot on the board for the Vipers. Great job by Jacob Shaw right there, just coming in from relief and doing his job right there. That's just damage control. As the Copperheads are still down by 2 runs. So we'll be back here at Cox Mill High School and to see if the Copperheads can bite back into this lead. as the Copperheads will start off this inning 1-2-3. Ixarino, the shortstop, Wilson Loher, the DH, and Luke Wood, the third baseman, are due up in this inning. So if you're down 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th and only a 7-inning game, these are the guys that you want out there to try to chip into this lead. First pitch to Ixarino will go for a strike. Did he go? No, he did not. As that field umpire had a great view of that swing from Sereno and said he did not go all the way around. 1-1 to Sereno. In the dirt for a ball. As it's starting to feel great outside here in Concord, North Carolina. As those dark clouds kind of rolled in, covered up the sun a little bit, and a little bit of misty rain. Nothing too hard, but just really cooled down this temperature, and it feels like something that you would get in like a fall night here in Concord. We have a 3-1 count to Sereno. That one in the dirt for ball 4, so the Copperheads start the bottom of the 5th inning very nicely, as they will have a runner on and no outs in the inning. And the DH, Wilson Loher, steps into the left-hand batter's box.
Now batting DH, number 11, Wilson Loher.
So Loher has Ixarino over there at first. A lefty-on-lefty matchup. That one goes in for a strike. As these Copperheads, it feels like it's, I want to say it's a must-win game for the Copperheads, but definitely a game that they feel is a very attainable game to win, and a game they need to win to maybe sneak into that second place in the SCBL playoffs. Because if you place in the second seed, you're more than likely going to play the Carolina Vipers and also have a home game. Right now, they're set up in that 3rd position, projected to play the Concord A's here at Coxville High School in their first-round matchup. Outside for a ball. Two one. That one goes in for a strike, so evens up at 2-2. And also, if you're that 2 seed, you don't have the Mooresville Spinners, who are sitting pretty in first right now, have to play them in the second round. So if you're the 2 seed, you get to play. You don't have to play the Spinners in the second round, which is really big, because the Spinners will play the winner of that 3-4 matchup. Double elimination tournaments are lots of revolving doors to go around in different scenarios and can really go any which way. 2-2 to Loher. And Ixarino will have to dive back into first base. And the count will run full. Runner will be going. And that one, kind of a safety swing from Loher right there, just having a sitting off speed, got that fastball, had to battle it off. That wind blowing right, so if you're anybody in that outfield and you see a fly ball, have to judge that a little bit more. Nothing too heavy, but definitely something that could affect the baseball. Here comes the full count pitch. That one down to left field. Will it drop? Yes, it will, and it will stay fair. So the Copperheads have a golden opportunity right here. Have their 3-hole hitter in the batter's box and their 4-hole hitter on deck with 2 runners on and no outs in the inning. And if this is an opportunity to tie this ball game or even come out of this inning winning the ball game, this is a great opportunity to do so.
Now batting, number 24, Luke Wood.
So the College of Charleston man, Luke Wood, in a big situation here, lefty on righty matchup. 0-0 pitch to Wood. That one in the dirt for ball one. And the thing with the lefty is you had Ixarino over there at first. Obviously now you won't see Lewis and Lohr steal if Ixarino doesn't steal. But with that lefty, you have such an advantage to hold those guys on at first base. So many different pickoff moves that you can have as a lefty that you can't have as a righty. So Will is up in this count 1-0. That one in the dirt for a ball. And it gets over the head of the pitcher. Great job over there by the second baseman for the Vipers. Just getting over that baseball, being aware of the play and not having that ball trickle into the outfield. Because if that ball trickles into the outfield, you have to imagine Nick Sereno is going to try to steal third. Wood swings and misses at that one. Still in a favorable count at 2-1. Just an update, the start time for the second game isn't announced just yet. We'll kind of play it by ear on what time this game ends, so we'll keep that updated for you guys at home so you guys know when to turn on your TV or pull up YouTube to watch the second game of this doubleheader. I think David Katzamar will be able to join us for the second game of the doubleheader here. Take a little bit of a power nap over there. Had a caddy for his friend at a golf tournament earlier today, so obviously very hot outside, especially carrying that big golf bag. But David, a big golf enthusiast. As that one gets past the catcher, and both runners will advance. So a full count pitch for Luke Wood, and two runners in scoring position. Can't get much better than this right here. So we're going to count that one as a pass ball, as that one was just two inside, almost clipped the feet of Luke Wood. As we see the rain coming down a little more heavily, wind picking up here. That one outside for ball four, so the bases will be loaded with 0 outs in the inning for Andrew Schultz. And there goes the camera. So we're bringing it to you radio style. Schultz sporting the number 18. As a reminder, bases loaded, no outs in the inning. A 2-run deficit for Lake Norman. So if there's ever been a time to tie up this ball game or win it, this is the time right here. First pitch to Schultz. That one is high and outside for a ball. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch to Schultz. That one goes in for a strike, and the count, even though it's at 1-1, that was a good fastball on the outside part of the plate. Schultz watches another fastball go by, and that one was just like the other pitch, a strike. So Schultz needs to take the bat off his shoulder right here if he doesn't want to go down looking like he has the last two pitches. 1-2 pitch to Schultz. That one in the dirt for a ball. Good eye right there. That one misses low at the tops of Schultz's feet. No activity in either bullpen. 2-2 pitch. That'll be a line down the first base line by Schultz, but foul. Kind of caught that one off the end of the bat. As we do have the camera back up and working, so luckily this is a big pitch right here, 2-2. With bases loaded, you can see it live and don't have to just listen to it. Great job by Reese over there helping us out. Schultz, watch that one go for a ball. So a big pitch right here. No bases loaded. If you walk him, you allow a run in. So have to challenge him right here. And with the control issues he's had tonight, you have to imagine Schultz has to be sitting. Hey, you know, if I get a good pitch, I have to defend it off, and I'm looking for a ball right here. And now he poked into right field. Will that stay fair? No, well, not. That would have been problematic for the Vipers, as if that one stayed fair, 2 runs would have scored, and another runner would be at third base. As the camera just a bit crooked, but we're trying to get that sorted out. Jackson Taylor, the first baseman, in the on-deck circle. We will try the 3-2 once again. And that will be ball 4, as that one just missed the outside part of the plate, and Schultz is lucky to be strolling over the first base. He needs to be giving his well wishes to the umpire right there. So a run will score, and we have a 3-2 ball game here. Copperheads only trailing by 1 run, and what a difference a half inning can make here. Obviously, still a lot of time to have 3 outs remaining. But Jackson Taylor has an opportunity to blow this game wide open right here. Jordan Spearman on deck with the shins on. But I feel like he's going to have to take those off. Imagine a triple play right here, and he doesn't have to. That'd be something else right there, as that one goes for a strike. We've seen some wacky things this year in the SCBL, but not a triple play yet, so we're still waiting on that. So Taylor steps in, 0-1 count. And he will foul that one off. Hit off the chest protector of the man behind the plate. So Jackson Taylor has to battle back in this count, down 0-2. So pitcher and catcher having a discussion right here. Big pitch coming. If you can get a strikeout right here, that'd be great, because you have the opportunity to turn 2 and get the third out of the inning if you get a strikeout right here. You have Wilson Lohr over there at third base, obviously very speedy, normally in the outfield. So if Taylor can poke one into the outfield, you'll see if he will be able to tag up. No outs in the inning, so if manager Sean Stevens will elect a run of home, that might be a little risky, as that one goes outside for a ball. As I said, this not a must-win game in my book, but definitely a game that would boost morale after that big loss last night against the Spinners. That one goes down for a ball. Definitely the expectation in that Copperheads dugout is to take 2 games away from the Vipers here tonight. 2-2 pitch. That one ground to the right side of the field. That one will get through. And 1 run will score, and we have a tied ball game here in Concord, North Carolina. And a good run from Jackson Taylor right there. Just pulling that baseball right through the gap between the second baseman and first baseman. As neither Nathan Sammy, the second baseman, or Caleb Freeman, the first baseman, could reach that one. And Jordan Spearman is now stepping in to the box. Spearman came in for Banks Conley earlier in the game. As you remember last inning, Spearman threw a man out over there at second base and really helped his pitcher Shaw, as he watches that one go by for a ball. Bases are still loaded. Luke Wood over there at third base, Andrew Schultz at second, and Jackson Taylor at first. And that one goes by for a strike, so the count evens up at 1-1. That one almost runs up and gets Spearman in the shin area, but he gets out of the way of that baseball. Ivan Zambrano, the right fielder, in the on-deck circle, and he leads this team in RBIs, and if he gets up with still bases loaded, they have a great time to add to his tally. And with that foul ball right there from Spearman, count evens up at 2-2. As I was hearing some guys in the dugout talking about that weather pattern, and they said it might just miss us. So we'll see. Definitely some dark clouds still in the air. Now one down the first baseline for Spearman. Can the Vipers get 2? They can! What a great double play turn from Caleb Freeman and Ezekiel Wood over there. As Freeman took that light ground ball, tagged third base, fired it over to a shortstop, Ezekiel Wood. A great arm for a first baseman over there. And doubles up the late number Copperheads, but not before the Copperheads get a run on the board, so they're still up in this game 4-3.
Now batting number 26, Ivan Zambrano.
So Ivan Zambrano, a much different situation that Jordan Spearman had. Spearman had bases loaded with no outs, and now the man behind him, Ivan Zambrano, has only a runner on third with 2 outs in the inning. So a tale of 2 at bats. So 4-3 ball game, 1-0 pitch. That one just misses high. Looked pretty good, but the umpire not liking it. It's 4-3. And that one is in there for a strike. As Jackson Taylor's the only man on for Lake Norman right there at third. As that one will be foul. As that just misses the outstretched glove of Caleb Freeman over there at first base. Using his big frame to try to get to that baseball, just couldn't get to it. But luckily for the Vipers, it goes foul. So the count will stay even at 2-2. Try to the 2-2 once more. Now one line to shortstop from Zambrano, and he will fire it over there across the infield. Another good connection from Ezekiel Wood and Caleb Freeman, but not before the Copperheads put 3 up on the board. It's a 4-3 ball game here at Cox Mill High School. Stick with us to see if the Copperheads can hold on. And welcome back here as Thad Lewis steps on the mound for his second inning of work. Shut down the Vipers last time out. Has some help from his catcher, Jordan Spearman, as well. That one just misses high, and that mound already seeing some wear and tear on, and that's going to happen with this game being held and then another 7-inning game, so hopefully that can help stay up, and that one misses high. Hopefully they can stay in good shape and these pitchers won't get injured stepping their plant foot down. As that one is high, and Lewis throws 3 straight balls. That's a play. As we see Grayson Barger running out that rag to the umpire, what he just collected here in the press box. So a little trade-off right there. Hopefully for the Copperheads, they might give him some more calls if they help out the umpire. And that one almost runs up and get him. And number 14 for the Vipers, Luke Harris, will take his base. So it's only a 1-run ball game. And Jacob Shaw is playing with fire right here. That one misses high. Harris over at first. Shaw playing with fire with only a 1-run ball game. That one just misses outside. Spearman tried his best to frame that one, but to no avail. And that was a good breaking pitch from Shaw right there. But on back-to-back pitches, it feels like he just can't catch a break. Just missing. A little too high or a little too outside, but whatever it is, it's a 3-0 count. That one definitely in there, right down Broadway. And trying to battle back here in this count. Swing and a miss right there. And Jacob Shaw is doing a great job battling back from being down 3-0 to now 3-2. And Shaw with a big grunt right there threw all of his mind into that fastball, but just skied it. So now 2 runners on base.
Now batting the extra hitter, number 3, Carter Starnes.
And Carter Starnes, the EH tonight for the Vipers at a big situation here. No outs in the inning, but 2 runners on. So with 1 swing in the bat can tie up this ball game or do even better. Shaw looks in to get a sign from Spearman. That one high and inside. That's what we've been seeing Shaw miss a lot. This past inning is just high and inside or high on those fastballs. 2-0 pitch from Shaw. That one is low and outside. So Shaw in danger of loading the base with the 0 outs in the inning. No activity in that Lake Norman bullpen. And Luke Wood playing a little bit in over there at third base and on the grass. And that was a nice 2-seam fastball right there from Jacob Shaw. That's some good movement. Yes, that one fouled off to the screen. So for back-to-back at-bats, Jacob Shaw from being down 3-0, battles back to 3-2. Last time he walked the batter. Let's see if he can do better here. Three-two pitch. High and inside. And Jacob Shaw walks back-to-back batters. Yes, 3 in a row, excuse me. A golden sombrero of some sort. And now manager Sean Stevens and Jordan Spearman goes out to talk to their pitcher. Copperheads limited on arms, so you have to have Jacob Shaw last this whole ball game. As we see David Katzenmeyer over there again, his arm loose. Reports are saying that he might come in the second game of this doubleheader, so just watch out for that. Bubba is currently adding him into point streak as a 6'5", 240 right-handed pitcher. I mean, you're a big dude. You're 6'5", so you have to.
I'll take the 6'5". I won't take anything else. I would say that was the trade-off for the
Yeah.
I was gonna say extra 4 or 5 inches. I was gonna say a little more than that. I'm 5'9". I was gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. 6'5", 280. My real guess is more like 5'10".
So now number 4, Nathan Sammy, the second baseman, with bases loaded. As David makes a 6-year-old kid do the scoreboard. Man, that's kind of messed up.
I'm going through my bullpen session.
He's 10, excuse me. Not the only thing I messed up on the broadcast tonight, so. A couple names, but we're getting past that. That one is not a strike right there. So Jacob Shaw now down to the count 2-0. Now 3 balls, so not a base open for Jacob Shaw to walk anybody. has to get a pitch right here and has to be in the zone. And that is ball 4 right there. So the Carolina Vipers have evened up this ball game at 4 apiece. And Adam Featherstone in a great opportunity to take the lead. Featherstone, the right fielder tonight, with bases loaded. Tied. And that one goes in for a strike. One of a pitch from Lewis. Swing and a miss. And he's up the count 0-2. I mean, he can because he has eligibility and he goes to a college. So he literally could. Lewis misses on that one. Still only 1 strike away from getting the first out of the inning. As just a little update on the David Katzenmeyer pitching situation. The 6'5", 240 pitcher over there is asking manager Sean Stevens as we speak, possibly. Well, not as we speak, but and see if he can go in there and throw. He still has 3 years of eligibility left to App State, so. As that one is fouled off over the netting, and the count will stay at 2-2. Little update on his resume as a baseball player. Still 3 years of eligibility at App State, a great college in the Sun Belt. So he can throw some heat in there. I've seen it in wiffle ball as well. If we were playing a summer wiffle ball league, he'd be the ace out there. As we see a foul tip to the glove of Spearman, and Featherstone goes down on strikes, swinging. So Ezekiel Wood now has the game in his hands to take a Vipers lead.
Now batting the shortstop, number 10, Enrique Wood.
Good job from Spearman over there, blocking it up and then preventing that run from coming in. We do see some activity in that Copperheads bullpen, and it's not David Katzenmeyer, so that is disappointing. Is that it's Wilson Lohr over there. Lohr playing DH tonight, but not on the field, so they threw him over there to get him ready to pitch. I think David Katzenmeyer's baseball resume is no high school baseball, but a little bit of T-ball and maybe some 8 or 9 you sprinkled in there. As Ixarino gets the first out. Can they get 2? Oh my goodness, what a great job from Thad Lewis escaping that jam. He had bases loaded with no outs and only allowed 1 run right there, and that's some sorcery right there. And this game is still evened up at 4, and we're going to the bottom of the 6th inning. Copperhead still with 6 out to play with. We'll see if they can take the lead here in the bottom of the 6th. Welcome back here for the bottom of the 6th inning here in the first leg of this doubleheader. As number 29, Zach Will is due up first for the Copperheads. This inning, they have 9, 10, and 1 due up. That's, 8, 9, 10. As Zach Will in the 8-hole, Robbie Brown in the 9-hole, and the speedy Kyrus Dawson batting 10th. That one inside. So Zach Will up in this count, 2-0. That one gets poked into center field. And it's a little update on the David Katzenmeyer situation. He's doing his J-bands over there, getting his arm warm. And if we pull this off over here, I would be so happy. I'd be doing laps around the press box. I don't even think I could commentate if he was pitching out there. Yeah. So after Zach Will pokes that single into center field, Robbie Brown is now up. It's kind of a Field of Dreams-esque moment as kind of David's coming back from the dead of his T-ball days and pitching here. As that one is way outside. And Zach Will was strolling over there to second base, and that just slipped out of the hands of the Vipers pitcher. As Reese, if you want to put on the headset real quick, if you want to predict the score, the stat line. If David was coming into this ball game, what's your prediction for the stat line?
Hold on, I got to turn this up. I don't know. I don't know if he's even going to get the start, but if he does, I say like 1K.
Huh? 1K? Oh.
Maybe 1K with like an 11 ERA.
Well, the thing is the only thing I can imagine, especially, he's not going to come in this game, obviously, but if the game gets out of hand on either side, Copperheads winning by a lot, Vipers winning by a lot, why not throw him out there? I mean, we've seen the pitching coach pitching, and he's also caught a full 7-inning game, the pitching coach, so anything flies here in Lake Norman.
I know, but I mean, it would just be absolutely funny if
As
he
the
goes
catcher
out there.
throws down a second, can he get him? He cannot. Sorry to interrupt you
No,
right
you're
there.
fine.
As Zach Will had to put all of his might in a head first dive right back into second base. As David has disappeared, he's not doing his J-band exercises over there anymore.
I don't know where he went. I look away for 1 second
He's
and
probably
he's gone.
just going over the game plan with the pitching coach right now,
Yeah,
I'd
I mean,
imagine.
maybe, trying to see what his pick selection is.
It's slow probably. As that one posts into center field, and Zach Will not go home as he thought that one was not going to drop, and he was just kind of leisurely going over there to home. Manager Stevens talking with him a little bit. So now runners on the corners. Kyrus Dawson a big opportunity right here as the wind is picking up. My papers are flying everywhere. A big moment right here. Kyrus Dawson kind of uses a second leadoff tonight, batting in the 10-hole. Kyrus Dawson already has 1 hit on the night. So runners on the corners, no outs in the inning. We are in the bottom of the 6th inning. Copperheads still 6 outs to play with, and a tied 4-4 ball game.
All right, I see David. He's just chilling in the dugout.
All right.
He might get the chance. I don't know.
That one fouled off to the screen by Dawson.
Be interesting to see who they start as the pitcher next inning, because they did have Wilson Lohr starting to warm up in the bullpen, but also David Katzenmeyer's there too. But you never know.
I mean, obviously, you think it's David Katzenmeyer, but we did see earlier that the former catcher for the Copperheads, that was in the game earlier, Banks Conley, he did pitch the other night, so you might say, hey, might throw you out there, see if you can get 2 or 3 innings. And for the sizes that we have on the jerseys up here in the press box, I mean, we have a 2XL, we have a 2XL. As that one will it drop? Yes, it will.
Yes.
And the Copperheads will take the lead in this ball game. And we'll have runners on the corners once again as the Copperheads lead now 5-4. So great job by Kyrus Dawson right there. As that was a big-time hit. So looking at the jersey numbers, we have a nice 37 right there. Well, 38 action as well.
I think that's about it.
39, so
And probably
we're
40.
creeping into the 40s. Yes,
Yep.
and number 40.
I
So
think they're all 2Xs.
yeah, I think they are all 2Xs because they go by jersey number and size and all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Little kind of little league-esque because normally the smaller guys are wearing the 1s, 2s, and 3s, and the bigger
Yeah.
guys are wearing the 14s and 15s. Oh, that's a bad decision from the Vipers catcher as that will allow the second run of this inning, and Kyrus Dawson will stroll over there to third base, excuse me. So how about it? Kyrus Dawson gets a single, and he's over there in third base after 1 or 2 pitches, huh?
That is great, man.
So now we have a 6-4 ball game as the Copperheads are extending their lead. As I think if David was wearing one of those 2X jerseys, it looked like a hand-me-down that your brother's 15 years older than you. So, Kyrus Dawson standing at third. And that is a good hold right there from number 4, Ixarino. 1, 2, and 3 are due up right now with still no outs in the inning. Ixarino batting, Wilson Lore on deck, and Luke Wood in the hole. A big swing and a miss right there from Ixarino. As Kyrus Dawson really needed this performance. I was talking to him before. He said, you know, I asked him, how many bags you selling today? And the first thing he said to me, I just got to get on base, man. I got to get hits. And he's been able to do that today. Been coming up big and getting a lot of good hits for Kyrus. And this lineup is still to be determined in the second game of this doubleheader. So if you can show it in the first game, you're almost guaranteed a spot in the second game.
Yeah, when we were out there catching BP, I talked to Kyrus a little bit. And I told him, are you going to get on base today? And he's like, maybe. I don't know. It's just I feel good with my hitting. So, and obviously he's shown through with his performance today that he is really, really well with his hitting.
And that can be so difficult for a hitter as that one is lined up in the middle. And Ixarino will score the Copperheads' 7th run of the ball game as number 17, Kyrus Dawson, gets number 7. So Ixarino gets out, but he gets an RBI in the process, and Wilson Lore, with the bases clean, and will step up with 1 out of the inning. And I was mentioning earlier, when you talk about Kyrus Dawson, that can be so frustrating as a hitter. When you're hitting the ball good, it's just not going in the places you want. You might have a hard line drive right to the shortstop or a deep fly ball that just stays in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
So he felt good with his mechanics, but today, kind of karma catching up to him. Good karma for Kyrus Dawson, as hard hit balls finally just find holes in the defense.
I still don't know much about the David Kazimir situation because he's still down there in that dugout. I don't know if they're trying to like prep talk him or anything, but I don't know.
I don't know if he's able to go out there and pitch because he was about to fall asleep here in the press box.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Just like, yeah.
He's got to get a little bit. If someone has smelling salts in there, you know.
As that one will drop into the gap, and Wilson Lore will poke a little single as that one just sneaked in right between the shortstop and left fielder. So the Copperheads are breaking open this ball game these last 2 innings. And now Luke Wood
What was the count?
steps onto the plate.
I think it was 1-1 or 3-2 or 2-1. I can't remember.
Now batting, number 24, Luke Wood.
It was either 2-1.
So Luke Wood steps
1-1.
into the batter's box for the second time in 2 innings. Now an outside for a ball. As the Vipers, which is doing so well in this game, both W's for the Vipers so far this season, coming by the way of the Copperheads, and then just throughout the game, arms got tired. The Copperheads caught on to their pitching, and just were finding gas. What we see right there, Luke Wood pokes one to the shortstop, and he doesn't have the wheels to beat it out. So the Vipers turn to once again. They've done it a couple times tonight, but not before. The Copperheads put a 3 spot on the board. So stick with us here at Coxville High School as the Lane Number Copperheads are leading the Carolina Vipers 7-4. And up to the plate for the Vipers is Breon Ishmael. The Vipers down on their last 3 outs of the ball game. That one bounces up and catches Freeman behind the plate. As Jacob Shaw back out on the mound. He's pitched 2 innings so far tonight, only allowing 1 run. Got out of that bases loaded jam last inning. Swing and a miss right there. As at one moment, it looked like Jacob Shaw was going to have to be taken out of this ball game early. For maybe possibly Wilson Lord, then ever since then, he's been looking spot on. Here comes the 2-2. Strike 3 looking as Jacob Shaw dotted up that baseball in the outside part of the plate. A heat-seeking fastball right there. And now the last 2 Vipers hitters, Caleb Freeman and Joe Haney, it's in the hands of them to make up this 3-run deficit. So Freeman steps into the box. And that one lined into center field. Will that ball get down? Yes, it will. As that drops right in front of Kyrus Dawson. And now 1 runner on. And we'll see if the Copperheads can end this inning like they ended the last inning in a double play. That would be a game-ending double play. Now, looking at the time right now, it's 7:40 Eastern Standard Time. So this second leg of the doubleheader might start about 8:25-ish, if my calculations are right. But gonna be a long night here. Hopefully you'll stick with us and stay past your bedtime to watch some great baseball. I know me and Reese and everybody up in the press box are gonna be tired by then tonight. First pitch to Haney would be fouled off into the screen. And my ward count will probably be over 20,000 by the end of the day here, running a one-man broadcast. As the little update on the David Katzenmeyer situation. When he went in there, manager Sean Stevens thought he was a joke. So the next step in that pitching phenomenon that he might have is he's going to walk in there with a 2XL jersey that's going to go down to his shins and hope that he actually takes him serious this time. So the count is even now at 1-1. That one into center field. Kyrus Dawson will be chasing after that baseball. Can he get there? The speedy Dawson does get after that baseball. What a great play from Kyrus Dawson, showing off the wheels in center field. And he has been locked down all season for the Copperheads out there. And a very reliable man if you're a man on the mound. See a ball hit into center field, say, hey, my man Kyrus Dawson has it. And the Carolina Vipers are on to their last out of the game. And Jeb Despard, the catcher, all the faith of Vipers fans is rested on this one man. Despard swings to the first pitch he sees. And that will be a ball game here at Cox Mill High School. The Lake Norman Copperheads take the first game of this doubleheader with a 7-4 win over the Carolina Vipers. A great job from Jonathan Connolly, Grayson Barger, and Jacob Shaw, limiting this Carolina Vipers team to only 4 runs tonight. And a great job from this hitting team as they scored 6 runs in the last 2 innings of this ball game and ended out this game in style. So stick with us for the second game of the doubleheader tonight. It will start at about 8:15, 8:20. We'll let you know what's going to happen there. So stick with us. We'll be back here at Cox Mill High School in a short time.